Hello, hello, hello. Okay, I have a question for you. Who's been in a situation where you've thought, I really want something, but maybe it's I really want to go for the promotion, but what if I don't get it? Or I really want to lose weight, but I also really enjoy the time spent cuddling on the couch with my spouse and I really enjoy snacks. Or something else, something relationship, something career, something personal well-being, something health related. When this happens, when it comes to a situation where you're like, "I want this, but" this is what we call internal conflict. A part of you really does want to go towards your goal, but if a part of you is holding you back, it's almost like you're playing tug of war with yourself. This is where we can get into problems where it's you make progress and then you self-sabotage and you pull yourself back. This is the topic that I discussed at the meetup that I ran on February 24th. And it's a really good topic to take a look at because internal conflict is often one of the biggest things that keeps people stuck when it comes to moving forward or trying to pursue some dream or some goal. And it's like I said, it's like literally playing tug of war against yourself. And the important or the interesting thing to consider here is the recognition that ultimately we have multiple different parts inside of us. Yes, there is one being in front of you, but inside of us, we have different parts that come forward and kind of take the lead during different situations. If you're the kind of person who has a very authoritative role in your workplace, or you have to be very assertive in your workplace, can you imagine bringing that assertive, authoritative person home for like fun time with your kids or cuddling and being romantic with your spouse? We have to go into a different role based on what the needs are for us at the time. So we do have different parts inside of us. That was the main focus. If you ever had anyone who has kids, this is one that usually lands with a lot of people. If you have children, and you've ever told a child that they can't do something or they can't have something, and you've seen a completely different person show up in front of you in an instant, then you understand what I'm talking about here. And when we have conflicting parts within inside of us, no part in you is not trying to operate and function for your highest intention, for your ultimate like best outcome. But the challenge shows up here when a part of you is trying to protect you in some way, shape, or form. So this part is reflecting, is looking on experiences you've had in your past. And so if I give the weight loss example, the part of you is like, yeah, I want to go for this. Like, let's do it. This is what I want. And then the other part of you that just wants protection is the one that steps in and says, well, do you remember last time you did this? Do you remember what happened then? I wouldn't want you to be hurt again. I wouldn't want you to be disappointed or upset with yourself. And so this part is slamming on the brakes and is holding you back to protect you, to keep you safe, to maybe prevent you from the heartache of going through that situation again or the potential danger that's associated with it. And so this is one of the techniques that I use when working with a client. It's called parts integration. And the whole objective here is to help your parts realize that although it feels like they're literally at war with each other, they actually both have very positive outcomes or intentions for you. They're actually both looking out for your best interest. And when you can recognize that these two parts are actually in your favor and working with you, often this is when clients can feel like they're not actually at war with themselves anymore. They can feel lighter. They can feel more ease going into the challenge or going into this goal that they're working towards. And it's pretty cool to see these things happen. But as I said, this is the topic that we discussed at the meetup that I did on February 24th. And if this is something that you're interested in, I had a great crowd there. There were 238 people, I think, that showed up live. Great conversation, a really engaging crowd, which is cool too, because I love to answer the questions, your questions, to make sure that you're getting the most value out of the stuff that I'm putting out for you. And so Meetup has been a really good option for that. Next time I will probably promote like share the link on here so that you can sign up to just come to the Zoom as well from Facebook. or from LinkedIn or from wherever you're watching from. The reason I didn't last time is because when that many people signed up, I thought, oh God, my Zoom is going to be full. We were good though. So that was the topic of the last one. It's the when a part of you wants to do something and a part of you doesn't and is holding you back, and how internal conflict is often one of the biggest things that gets in our way when it comes to working towards our goal. So if this is something that resonates with you, I asked this question at my networking group last week. Is there I part of me wants this, but so ask yourself that. Are there any situations in your life that you can think of where you think a part of me wants this, but what comes up for you there? Drop it in the comments below or send me a DM if this is something that you've been bumping up against. Because if you don't have everything that you want in your life right now, there's a but somewhere. There's a part of you that's holding you back for some reason. This can be connected to past events, past failures, not necessarily, but past times where things didn't go as good as you would like them to. It can be connected to beliefs. Beliefs are a really big thing that I help people work with, just because beliefs and limiting decisions are often really closely tied together. But it's like we can have beliefs or limiting beliefs from a very young age, a very young period of our life that maybe served you at the time, but aren't necessarily serving you now when it comes to moving towards your goal. And so you can keep those and keep bumping up against the things that you want and keep staying in a place where you're thinking, I want this, but, and the but is winning, or we can resolve these. And so when we clear limiting decisions, limiting beliefs from our past, when we clear negative emotions from our past that ultimately shape the way we respond in everyday life and how we show up. Like I said, the mind is always trying to compare something that happens. Oh, I have a fun example I want to share with you on that. I do a membership for people with MS, and I did the talk with them this morning, or the call with them this morning. And something I heard a little while ago, it was kind of just an interesting story, but a gentleman was talking about how he went to like a science center kind of place where you just get to experience different things and see cool stuff. And there was this like long pole kind of thing, and it had coils wrapped around it. And so one of the coils that wrapped around it was like a lukewarm temperature. So it was like a warm, it wasn't hot, but it was like a warm that you could hold your hand in water that temperature all day long and you'd be fine. And then there was also an alternating luke cool or cold, I guess, temperature coil as well. And this was like a cool or a cold that you could like put your hand up against no problem and hold it all day long and not have an issue. So these two, like they kind of twined around this pole. And what you do is you put your hand on this pole. And as you do, people touch it and it feels super hot. So they like rip their hand back. And the reason this happens is because nowhere in our natural environment would you come in contact with hot and cold at the same time. So, because this is not something that's naturally occurring or that we experience regularly, the mind has nothing to compare it to. Nothing to compare it to that says, oh, yeah, this is safe. So, people touch this pole and they like rip their hand back because it feels super hot because the mind doesn't know what to do with this. Because ultimately, our mind places meaning on the things that we experience. And so, if it has something that it doesn't have a meaning to compare it to, it's foreign and it's new. And so, when it comes to trying to do this, is kind of seems like a squirrel, but it's not. I'll tie this back together to what I was talking about. The part of me wants this, but situation. It's like if the mind feels like I've experienced this in the past. The weight loss is a good example. I've tried losing weight in the past and it ended up you gained it back or it didn't go well or something. The mind is looking for meaning for the things that you're saying I'm going to do. And so if it compares the meaning to what you're looking to do now and sees that in the past it didn't go well for you, this is where that other part, so the part wants to do it, the other part is slamming on the brakes literally to protect you because the meaning that it sees with trying to lose weight is not comfortable. It doesn't end well for you. And ultimately, it wants to keep you safe, wants to keep you happy, wants to keep you alive at the end of the day. So if this makes sense, a part of me wants X, but drop it in the comments below. Let me know what's going on in your world right now. Or if you would like to explore because you feel like you've been just bumping up against the same thing for a long time and maybe didn't realize that this is actually a part of you that's trying to keep you safe and you'd like to have a conversation about it, send me a DM and yeah, let's chat for sure. This is something that I work one on one with clients all the time. Well, when I work with a one on one client, this is part of the breakthrough that we do. We take a look and see where is internal conflict showing up in their life? How is it holding them back? And how can we resolve it so they can start moving towards their goals in a way that feels so much easier? Because when you're playing tug of war against yourself, you have equal force pulling from either side. Ultimately, you're not moving anywhere. And so when we can resolve this and help your mind realize that ultimately everything can come into congruence, can come into acceptance and work together, alignment, it's pretty beautiful, the results that start to happen. And it's like way less hard than trying to use willpower because willpower works short term and then eventually your mind goes back to the meaning or your outcome goes back to the meaning that you've been putting on these things. So yes, if this is something, if you're at a place where you're like, I want this, but drop your I want this. What do you want? And what is the but that's coming up for you? Drop that in the comments below. Send me a DM if you'd like to have more conversation around this. And I'm also going to drop the link um, in the okay, in the chat for the meetup group because it's been such an incredible community to be a part of. I've only done 2 meetups on there, but we've just had a great time because it's getting a lot of interest and engagement, which is really fun. And the next one that's coming up is on March 19th at 7 p.m. And that one is, do you find it it's easy to do things for other people, but it's really hard to do stuff for yourself, is the topic of conversation there. And then there's another one already scheduled for April as well. So lots of fun stuff happening over there. If that's something you're interested in, grab the link in the comments and sign up to check it out. You don't have to come, but at least you'll be able to see what's happening and if there's anything that interests you. So hopefully you got some interest or hopefully this kind of landed with you in a way. And it's interesting stuff to think about because so often we just play tug of war against ourselves. One foot is pushed firmly down on the gas pedal and the other foot is planted on the brake. And when that happens, moving forward, moving towards your goals can feel impossible, but it's not. It's just realizing that that internal conflict can be resolved. And ultimately, even though it feels like you're at war against yourself or at odds against yourself, both parts of you have your best intention in mind. Both parts of you are trying to do things that are beneficial for you. It's just how can we get them in alignment so that they're working together to get you towards your goal and still getting the outcome or the safety on the one side and the motivation, the move forward on the other side, when they both are working together and realizing that they don't have to conflict with each other, results just come so much easier. And it's pretty cool what happens. So I'm Kate from Align Natural Health. I didn't say that earlier. Yeah, so I'll drop the meetup in the comments as well. Let me know. I want this, but what's going on with you? What are the roadblocks you're getting stuck up against? And send me a DM if you would like to get some help and support around this. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of your day and